While the year is still young, our goals are in the air, and we're wanting better for ourselves, I thought I would give us this roadmap to financial success. Now, if you're subscribed to my blog, thank you to all my readers out there. You've already seen this. This video is just the audio version of that blog for all my listeners. So in this video, I'm going to give you 8 steps that I believe will put you on that roadmap to financial success. Let's get into it.
The river flow in my head, I go. Try reach me now, but my cell line slow. I keep it low, it's like where I go. Try teach me how, but I said I know. People know me like you, like hope, and I need to know premise when I show. I collect my dough, do my thing and go.
Step number 1 is to look at your finances. If you're ever lost somewhere in the wild and you call someone and say, hey, I need help getting home, the first thing they're going to ask you is, where are you? Because in order to direct you to where you need to be, we first need to know where you are. So take a month, set aside, and actually just track your finances. You tend to know how much you spend on your set bills, like how much your rent is, how much your phone bill is, things that are a reoccurring fee that's the same and not changing. But do you know how much you spend on those fluctuating purchases? Your groceries, your gas, that miscellaneous self-needs, skincare, little household items. I mean, how much do you spend on that a month? We tend to not know, so take some time to actually track it. You can do this a few ways. One, you can actually, this month that's coming up or the month that we're in now, take some time and every purchase that you make, track it. Or 2, you can look historically. So pull up an old bank statement, maybe the past 3 bank statements, and just sum up the categories. How much did you spend on groceries? How much did you spend on gas? How much did you spend on miscellaneous items, etc., etc.? Figure out how much that is. You can do this by using the old-fashioned pen and paper approach. You can use a nice spreadsheet, Google Sheets, Excel, whatever you prefer, or you can use a budgeting app, whatever way you like. Let's definitely spend our first month focusing on that, figuring out where we are and getting an accurate representation, an accurate view on your financial situation. Okay, step 2 is, now that we've looked and assessed our financial situation, let's find the hiccups. What did you notice? Did you notice that you're spending $600 on your hair, nail, and skincare? Did you notice that you have a reoccurring habit of going out to eat every day for lunch and that has been adding up? What are we noticing? What are some of the bumps that we realize could probably use some changes? So our step 2 is just to pull those out, find the road bumps on this path to financial success. Step number 3 is to implement one small change. So we don't have to try to change everything at once because that can definitely be overwhelming. But just pick one thing. So going back to the hiccups, when I mentioned that maybe you notice that you're going out to lunch every day with your friends. So maybe that's something that you want to change. So let's start there. We're going to take our lunch instead and we're going to stop buying out. Now this simple change is actually helping us with two financial goals, because the money that we were spending going out, we're going to stop doing that. So we're no longer spending that money. And now that money is going back into our pockets. It's staying in our bank accounts. What are we going to do with it? I would advise you that since this is money that you were already spending, why not redirect that into a savings account? So not only are we cutting the habit of spending money daily, we're actually creating a habit of saving that money instead. We stopped the habit and created the habit all at once. When you're looking at your hiccups, find the one that stands out to you the most and start with that one. Number 4 is going to be something that you all have heard before, something that you know you need to be doing, but you're putting it off anyway, and that is staying out of debt. Specifically consumer debt. Now, as long as your basic needs are taken care of, roof over your head, food in your stomach, clothes on your back, and if you're going into debt because we can't even get those basic needs met, I understand that, and that is a completely different subject. But in the event that you are someone who does have your basic needs met and you're using credit cards to get wants and things that you don't really need for survival, that is where it's becoming a problem. Going into debt because of impulse purchases and just this desire of wanting things is just going to hurt you in the long run. So yes, while we all absolutely deserve the best thing that life has to offer, the person next to you is no better than you. And if they can go out and get their nails done and buy this new trendy thing, then why can't you go and do the same thing? And I definitely, again, I get it. We are thinking long term. digging yourself into the debt grave is not the way to stick it to the man and be a rebel. You're only going to hurt yourself in the long run. So make a get out of debt plan and stick to it. And yes, this may mean that you have to live a little frugal for a few months, maybe even a year at a time, but it's going to be so worth it in the end when you don't have this consumer debt hanging over you and then having to file bankruptcy and crashing your credit all because of these wants you wanted in life that you couldn't wait until you had the financial capacity to buy them. So if you have the debt, let's get rid of it. Okay, so step number 5, increase your income. This is going to require some preparation. So let's start with your job. If you already have a nice stable job, the time to begin preparing to increase your income starts today. And this plan is going to be for 3, 6, maybe even 12 months from now. I say this because this is the time where you need to begin preparing yourself to ask for a raise. How you do this is start taking initiatives at work. Start coming up with new designs, new programs, going a little bit above and beyond. I'm not saying do too much more than what you're getting paid for, but just, start doing some things and document this. If you signed a big client, document that. If you implemented some change that really helped save the company money or helped save the company time or improved a procedure, document that. And then when your annual review comes in, bring that up. Like, hey, these are all things I've done this year. This is why I deserve $10,000 extra a year. This is why I deserve $5 extra an hour, however you want to go about that. And if your review, let's say you already had your review, so it's another 12 months from now before your next one, you don't have to wait. Email your manager and say, hey, I would like to have a conversation about compensation. Have the meeting, bring up these points, like, hey, in the past 6 months, these are the things that I did. Build a case for yourself. This is a great way to show what you've done. Of course, the answer can always be no, but sometimes we don't even give ourselves the opportunity to ask and be shut down. Like, we're already just accepting that you're not going to get it, but you never know if you don't ask. And if you can build a great case, that's much better for you. So begin that preparation now. Another way that you can increase your income is by getting a side hustle. And before you just hop into one, actually, again, spend some time doing some research and see what kind of side hustle would actually benefit you. If you're someone who doesn't enjoy teaching kids or teaching other people, or you're just not a good teacher, that's not your thing, picking up a side hustle tutoring, that's going to last you maybe 2 sessions before you're like, I don't want to do this. Now we're back to zero, trying to find a new side hustle. And you see what I mean? So if you don't have a consistent side hustle, you're not going to have consistent side income. So spend some time and actually figure out what you could do continuously for some time as a side hustle to build yourself a little extra income. So step 5, let's increase that income. Now, step number 6 piggybacks right off of step number 5, and that's keep your expenses low. So when you do get this raise at work and you do get this side hustle, your first thought might be, well, hey, let me get myself a new car. Let's move into a bigger home. Let's upgrade our apartment. Let's let's buy more and do more. And that puts you right back where you started. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you save. So when you're increasing your income, keep your expenses the same or even lower if you can. You don't need the latest new thing. What you need to do is keep that money in your pocket, or you're going to feel the same way you felt before you got that increase. You felt like you didn't have enough money to have the things that you wanted. You didn't have enough money to save a little extra month, and then when you do get a raise or you do increase your money, you just buy more stuff and you're right back where you are. Don't have enough money for the things that you want. Don't have enough money for whatever said thing. So when you're increasing your income, stop increasing your expenses as well. Income goes up, expenses stay the same. Income goes down, expenses go down. Some of the people walking among us that you think are just the average Joe really have a lot of money in their bank account. That's because they don't feel the need to show it. They're wearing the same t-shirt and jeans and sneakers. They're driving the same '09 Toyota. They're not trying, their money isn't going into physical things. Their money is going to experiences. Their money is going to savings. Their money is going to more valuable things than these tangible items that we don't need to spend a lot of money on. And I actually challenge you as an activity. One day, just go out. If you're at a library, a shopping center, somewhere where there's a lot of people, Try to point out who you think in the room has the most money. I I guarantee you might be a little shocked. Of course, you're never going to find this out. I mean, you're not going to go up to them and say like, "Hey, what's your net worth?" Right? But I think it's just an interesting activity. So do that the next time you're in a public setting. Step number 7: separate and automate your savings. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say you're someone who gets your hair braided or dyed or styled every 3 to 6 months. Okay. So no, this isn't an expense that you have to pay for every month, but it's an expense that's coming out regularly enough. Let's say you're someone who gets their oil changed regularly, every 3 months, every 6,000 miles, but it's not something that you need monthly, but it's something that you know you're going to spend money on within the year. Instead of waiting and making these giant purchases at once, so instead of dropping $300 in March for your hair to be dyed and then dropping another $300 in August when it's time to get a touch up or however often people do those things, put aside a little money every single month for those things. So separate them. Have a savings for hair care, have a savings for car maintenance, have a savings for that girls trip that you take every year with your friends. Again, instead of waiting until it's time to pay for that trip and then dropping $2,000, just save a little bit for it every month until the event comes. A little every single month is building that habit of saving money, and that's much better than dropping a bunch of money at one time. You are preparing for that. So that's the first part, is separating them, having your savings account for everything that you know is coming up within the year, and then having that on auto pay. When your paycheck comes in, you already have that money going out to those separate savings accounts. So again, when the time comes, you're not looking around thinking, where am I gonna, I might be a little short on my bills this month, or I might have to cut corners here because I got this big purchase coming up. No, you don't have to go through all that. What you're going to do is open up your account and go straight to car maintenance savings. Like, oh, here's $400 in here. That's definitely going to cover these new wiper blades I got to buy and my oil change. That's definitely going to cover these new brakes I got to get, or whatever the case. So doing it that way, again, is building that habit of saving money, but also setting you up for success. And then finally, step 8, our last little step here for this roadmap, is to check in. We can't set these goals and set these new habits once and then forget about them. We're going to have to review them regularly. So have a day. This could be something you do weekly. It could be something you do bi-weekly. It can be something you do monthly. But however often you want to do it, just make sure you check in and make sure that you're still on track. Write down these financial goals, whatever goals you have somewhere, and then make sure that you're reviewing those goals and making sure that you're doing stuff that is putting you in the direction of those goals. If you set a goal to save $500 by the end of the year, and a month goes by and you haven't saved anything, you're going to look at those goals again and say, I wanted to save $100, and then you can redirect your energy to that. And remember, that's a goal I set, and I haven't been doing that. Let me do that now. Yes, setting the goal is the first step, but checking in and following up on that goal is going to be what gets you there. Now, with this being a finance video, I wanted to ask you a question. Just a fun, lighthearted question, nothing serious, but to get your opinion on something. If you had to choose one bank, which bank would you pick? So we got our Wells, we got our Fifth Third, we got our Chase, we got our PNC, we got our Huntington, we got our Bank of America. I mean, all these banks in the world, if they all were to shut down except for one, which one would you hope was left standing? Leave that in the comments. I hope these 8 steps help you this year as you gain your financial success. Let's make this year different than every year we've had before. Remember, it's not how we start the game, it's how we finish it. So it doesn't matter if you had terrible financial habits the past 10 years, the next 10 years can be different if you choose so today. Make sure you share this with someone who you wish financial success to, because I wish financial success to you, and that's why I'm sharing this with you right now. Share that love and send it on to someone else. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Give me that wonderful, beautiful thumbs up. While you're here, go ahead and go to my page, go to playlist, check the finance tab and watch all the finance videos I have put out so that you can help yourself gain that financial success this year. In my description box, you will see a link to my website. I'd really appreciate it if you hopped on there and subscribed to the blog and the newsletter, join the community. I really believe that this company is going to grow exponentially, and I would love for you to be a part of it in its startup days. That's all I got for you. As always, don't forget to crush it. I'll see you soon.